Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and my lovely envies. Today, we're going to go ahead and get into part 2 of Tooth and Tail competitive season. So, this is going to be season 2 of the 2023 competitive series. We have quite a lot of players coming in today, so it's very exciting to see how well this all goes. And I have the privilege to go ahead and do these two matches, which is WinterLoad versus Szenszej and Olive versus Proto. Both of these are going to be, I believe, is in Group C and Group D respectively. I might be wrong. I'll show that on the screen right now to see which ones are available. But these are going to be the matches that we're going to go into, and I'm excited to see how things go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on in. As soon as, there we go. So, we have WinterLoad being the KSR up in the northern position, while we have Szenszej as the civilized over in the southern division. Now, looking at the map right here, very evenly distributed map so far. For WinterLoad definitely has a much easier second base and pretty easy third base, I would assume, but it could be like a quick battle between these two. While Szenszej only really have one available over here to the left, while it could be hard to get to the difficult because how close these two are. But with that in mind, going into the compositions, we got some pretty interesting comps here in the beginning going. So for WinterLoad, we are seeing that WinterLoad's going to have a solo tier 1 with the Squirrels, and then mass tier 2 with the Falcons, Cams, and Snakes. Probably do some cheesiness with the Snakes here in the early going into this game. We have a double tier 3, and oh, speaking of shenanigans, we do have a mole here for Szenszej, but decides to burrow away just in case. I'm sure that WinterLoad's going to maybe spot this. Ooh, is he going to scout this? Yes, he will. So he knows. That's a very smart move here to be able to go ahead and double sell and making WinterLoad having to rebuy both of those things before having to do that. That's a very interesting call there. I've never seen a mole tactic like that to really kind of sell that idea that he wasn't really doing anything. That was pretty cool. So getting into that for the tier 3 with Boar and Wolf, we're using the double Warren for the Squirrels in the early going. I haven't even got a chance to talk about Szenszej, which is more of a standardized deck with the Squirrel Moral combination, as we saw the early Cheese Mole from Szenszej in the early goings. And here we are, we're seeing another mole play here, as speaking of, but instead it's going against it. Probably just trying to do some things here to see what they're doing, but Szenszej knows that there really isn't much to do for cheesiness, but Szenszej is going to go early with the Skunks and the Falcons. Where's the Falcons at, actually? The Falcons are probably, like, deep in here somewhere. Yeah, there, let's see it now. We do hear I thought I heard another mill coming up, but I might have been wrong there. But in any case, we are seeing that Szenszej is going really heavy on the tier 2 in the early goings of this game. We do see that there's a cabin spotted, so I wouldn't be surprised if WinterLoad would like to go ahead and take it, but we are seeing a cam come into play. Wouldn't be necessarily surprised if he decides to go ahead and sneak over. Ooh, actually, with the fact that there's a second mill here, it is going to be kind of protected, so it depends on how Winter wants to tack on the Skunks here, Cams here, because with this campfire in the way, it makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of go here. But I'm assuming that he's gonna hold. No, he isn't. He's just gonna go ahead and let them vibe, so they won't attack automatically, and it'll turn invisible. But we are seeing that the Skunks are gonna do some guarding, but that mill is gonna go down. But I'm sure those Cams are gonna be wiped out as quickly as possible. But no, one does get away. One will get away, and so that's a pretty good 60-60 swap, I believe. So that not too bad of a trade, but that does put Szenszej behind on the eco as we go ahead and look at that. The armor value is pretty much even. We are seeing that the WinterLoad will have the eco advantage just a tad bit here. Well, actually, yeah. My bad. But now with the fact that Szenszej is going to put in 2 farms here in Winter has not put down his second one yet. I'm assuming he's going to put 2 more at some point, because you don't really want to linger too much. But we are going to see a boar in the early going, so we are seeing that WinterLoad does matches the food. He's going to take out that campfire to not deal with any pesky damage from it. We know Szenszej is going to, I don't think Szenszej saw the... I don't think that Szenszej saw it, the tier 3. He did not, so we know that he might be seeing something. He is going to go a little bit greedy here on the farming. Probably thinking of going, looks like he's trying to go mass tier 1 and, well, really just go mass squirrel, mass skunk combo, but the boar is going to be ready pretty soon. The boar is going to be coming out any moment now, so this is going to be pretty dangerous for Szenszej if he doesn't scout this and get prepared for it, because he's not going to have enough time to put in a tier 3 Warren. And we see WinterLoad trying to get it, but Szenszej is going to scout the boar, so he knows what's coming very soon, and I would imagine that he's going to try and get prepared for it as much as possible. And it looks like that he's going to put in more falcons, which I can't blame him here, because that's the only way that he can be able to counter that boar, and there really isn't any kind of secondary third tier that he's going to use. But Winter's going to counter with a whole bunch of falcons on his own, and here comes the big boy. So I would imagine that he's going to go ahead and farm up a little bit more, but instead he decides to go ahead and sell once again, because right now the army advantage clearly goes into Winter, and I probably wouldn't be surprised if he goes ahead and deletes a lot of the tier 1. And he's really doing only poking with the boar here, which is very interesting here in this case, considering the falcons. And now the battle's going to commence. You can imagine that Winter could possibly get this here. And right now we're seeing a lot of damage being done. It doesn't look like, it looks like that Winter's going to be, I didn't realize that his person died, but he is going to take out the mill before the boar gets killed. So the damage is done for Winter, but I would imagine he's going to have to sell a tier 3 to pretty much go ahead and get his team going, because he doesn't have a lot of things. But speaking of, we have a starving Szenszej here, so he has to go all in, but I don't know if he's going to have enough to go against this, because he does have a skunk already. But if that skunk goes down, I imagine this could be Winter's game if he is able to take out that skunk, because that precast could be very devastating. And right now, some great micro play here, but it's not going to be enough because of the rest of the units going down. And so this is going to be a game for Winter at game 1, and we are seeing Szenszej tapping here. So game 1 will go over to Winter. So with the first game done, let's go ahead and get into game number 2. So we have Winter up in the north side, KSR baby, while as the civilized Szenszej's down in the south. Winter deciding to go for a massive change up here, this time going for another solo tier 1. Technically it's two tier 1s, but Pigeon's really more so for the support for the badger owl combination, while the squirrel does the heavy lifting for the tier 1. And of course the skunk and the falcon is also there. And of course we're seeing more cheesiness from Szenszej, who hadn't had any major changes outside of ditching the other tier 3 that he had and going for 3 tier 2s in the having the third tier 2 be the ferret. That's the name of the unit. That is the name of the unit indeed. So we are seeing a bit of a change for Szenszej, going for 3 tier 2s instead of going the standard 2-2. Going for the 2-3-1. So instead of going 2-2-2, which is interesting combination here. But Winter is going to go ahead and try and go for a quick little sneaky attack, because he doesn't really have anything to defend this outside of the one squirrel. Though I kind of find it kind of funny that he's kind of being the shield himself, and now the commander goes down. Now that's not really something you want to see here, because now a pig is guaranteed to go down, maybe even two. But now Winter's got down, and so that's going to be the end of that damage. I believe two pigs went down in that scenario, so a huge loss there for Szenszej. But Winter doing a really good job using that cheesiness against Szenszej to put himself in a pretty decent lead here in the economy. As you can see, really kind of making a punish in that instance with the army value. So now Szenszej is probably going to have to do nothing but retreat, because he's not going to have enough to go against what Winter is cooking. Well, I would imagine that, yeah, he's going to go ahead and bring him back. Because I was about to say, why are they still going this way? Like, I don't think it's a good idea to pretty much go deep into the territory, especially with only 6 scrolls on lock. But he is going to put down a third. I think right now that Szenszej's going to do something with civil scouting. Nothing cheesy here going on, which I think is probably a good thing. But both players are doing a little bit of, well, I was going to say they were going to do a little bit of things, but Szenszej does pay for another farm. And Winter not pulling all the punches right here with a Badger. At this point, we are over the halfway mark for the OG to go down, so I'm assuming this is going to be a one base battle, because there really isn't a lot of initiative to go for a second mill here, because they're all kind of spread out a little bit. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to try and go for one another, being sniped pretty easily. And speaking of, we are seeing a boar and a couple of tier 1 units and a tier 2 with the Falcons to really kind of go mass, and it looks like both players are just going to go for a one base battle royale. Though I would imagine that on their way over, they would probably go for buy stuff on the way just for base race purposes, but I'm not too sure if they're going to go that route. But the Badger's going to come up soon. We are seeing the pigeons coming into play. We are seeing a good majority of squirrels, and of course, we do see Szenszej finally going for that second mill just in case, because we are about 1 minute left before pigs start falling. And we are seeing that Winter is going to go ahead and buy all of the pigeons and not going to bother getting a second mill quite yet. I was thinking he was probably go for this one right here on the way, but I guess not, because if this fails, this might not be great. But the Badger is out now, so if Szenszej, so this could be the small window that they need here. And as I'm saying this, we are seeing that Szenszej's trying to go around, maybe looking for a base race opportunity. That's what it looks like. It looks like this is going to go for a base race. With the fact that he does have a mill here, he's going to go around to possibly go attack that way. But I am pretty sure that Winter sees right through this. And even though the Badger didn't have the distance, we are seeing a battle commencing. And right now, in that choke point, that's a very dangerous spot. But I mentioned both players are trying to tap the dose a little bit. But it looks like that we are going to commit to this base race scenario, because that's the only thing that I'm seeing right now. As Szenszej is now officially starving, which means that he's going to have a little bit of a disadvantage. I don't think WinterLoad has scouted the other one, but it's going to be a race against time to go ahead and get rid of all of these units. And he's going to go after the main base here. But he needs to go ahead and commit into doing this base race, because if he goes to this battle, he's not going to win, I don't think. Actually, he is going to do that, but he's got 30 seconds to go ahead and kill everything. Oh, this is going to be so close, and I don't think this was a wise move on Szenszej's part, because he doesn't have much to deal here. Because he is going to take that mill down, but the main base is still there, and it's almost at the full health, so I think this is GG's here. This is GG's, because Szenszej is starving, and there's nothing else he can really do. So, GG's over to Szenszej, for sure. Unless he goes back over to this main base and buy something. Oh, he does end up actually getting finally getting a farm down. Oh my goodness. I was like, yo, there's no way he could have done that. But, yeah, I think this is basically, this game is over. There's not much that Szenszej can really do here. He is going to try and base race still, but I doubt he's going to have enough time to really get it down because that base is going to go down. And, yep, that's all she wrote. So, Winter already up by an onslaught with a 2-0. So, GG's over to Winter as we go ahead and get into game number 3. Oh my god, I really get it. Alright, so we are now seeing a little bit of a change in commanders, but WinterLoad staying the same with the KSR, while Szenszej's gonna go with the long coats instead, and another massive change on both sides. It looks like Szenszej's gonna go for a Squizzard, really all like 4 tier 1 units, a Badger and a Falcon, so this is a very interesting composition here. Don't really see this one often. And then we have Winter going for a more standardized deck here. Solo tier 1 with Squirrel, 3 tier 2s and Falcons, Cams, and Snakes, and then the Boar and the Wolf coming in for WinterLoad. So this is a very interesting case here. Let's see if Szenszej's able to handle this standard deck. We are not going to see any cheesiness whatsoever. Both are kind of giving the gentleman's 8, as I like to call it. Oh, actually, no. Winter's going to go ahead and go for a 7-farm safety worm before putting down the 8th, which is very... Oh, I see. Okay, there was cheesiness here. So, Winter, once again, going to have to sell and retweet. I did not see that mole there. I'm not going to lie. So, Szenszej with the cheesiness of his own. I was like, well, I was wondering why he put that there, but that was just me being a bad caster. I apologize. All right. So, Szenszej. It's going to be a bit behind on E-Kill because of that, as we can see. Some very slow income value being put there, but it's not too bad when it comes to tempo, but that is going to be pretty big for possible attacks in that run. But Szenszej's going to go ahead and go nice tier 3 here, while Winter is going to automatically go into tier 2 with 2 tier 1s and Squirrel. So we're going to see a massive Squirrel battle, and with the Cams also being involved, I would not be surprised if I could give this one to the Cams if they finish in time. But Szenszej's window to attack could be now. He is going to do that with another mole attack, probably going after the Cam, but it's going to be guarded very well. There's no way he's going to get that. So with that in mind, he's gonna say goodbye to that mole warren, so a bit of food's gonna get lost here. So very unfortunate, but he's gonna have one mole to kind of chill around, I guess, which is kind of fair. But now we're gonna go ahead and get into a second mill from Winter. By the way, this is a very mill heavy map, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're gonna see probably a 2 or 3 mill matchup, maybe, depending, but we'll see. But right now, it seems like Szenszej's going to start off with a mass tier 1 angle with a lot of squirrels, and the lizards are coming in pretty soon. And we're already going to see a quick battle, but I'm pretty sure those Cams going to wipe the floor off of these tier 1, and that's going to be the case. So Szenszej's off to a very big disadvantage at the moment. And right now, WinterLoad's just going to go ahead and go ham and finish this off right here and now. But he's going to be careful because he's going to lose his commander if he's not too careful. And that's going to be the case. So with that in mind, Winter is going to lose a lot of his army because of it. So Szenszej does survive, being able to defend very well. And now he's going to come back with the attack. But is it going to be enough? Because the lizards are going to be faster, but they're much more weaker in this patch. So I don't know if it's going to be enough time for them to possibly get into this. Can one Cam finish this off? And the Cam's going to get deleted pretty easily, but so is the majority of the tier 1. So he's going to be forced to retreat. So that one Cam really decided that matchup very quickly. And now Winter's chasing Szenszej way back home. And he might be committed to doing this here because he has a lot of tier 1, but so does Szenszej. And instead, Winter does decide to go home. And right now, it looks like Szenszej's gonna probably try and be cheesy here. And yes, he is. He's gonna go ahead and get rid of that second mill. just to make it a little bit harder. But as I say that, we are seeing a board beam coming out. And Winter's fine with losing that milk. He's going to automatically jump for that second one. So hopefully he can guard well. So this is a very... I think Szenszej is going to be... realize that he is going to be on the clock. Because he does see the... Oh wait, I'm on the other side. Because I'm pretty sure he did see it. Yeah, he did see it. Okay. So he did see it. But he is going to respond with a Badger. So that's going to be very interesting. Let's go ahead and look at the army value here. You can see that WinterLoad's in a huge, huge advantage in both Eco and Army. So Winter may sweep this if he's able to go ahead and confidently get this boar out with no problems. Because Szenszej has to use a lot of his Eco to pretty much get a decent amount up there. But we are going to see a second mill come out. And we do see a mole play here that was... cams being used very well to get rid of Szenszej's mill. But right now, Winter is in a full-on command so far with having so many so many mills available because that one's gonna go down. And I think this might be Winter's to win because there's not much that Szenszej can do here outside of base racing, and those cams are pretty much gonna be safe because the board's gonna come in to protect them, and no tier 1 is going to survive against that board because that's all he really needs. But really it's just trying to hope and pray that this Badger comes out and takes care of this matchup with this godlike micro. He may try to get this choke point here, but we're going to see a lot of destruction here from the board alone. But now we are seeing a Badger board battle, but with not a lot of with no pigeons, it makes this a lot more difficult. And especially with the fact that we got a starving Szenszej here, I don't really think this is gonna go very well. I'm pretty sure this game is over. Once the Badger is down, I'm pretty sure he's gonna submit. The tier 1's gonna get wiped out. And there goes the Badger, and that's going to be games, guys. Very good effort there from Szenszej, but WinterLoad will get the sweep as we wrap things up with a 3-0. Very great start there for Winter as he gets the sweep in his group.